You got the third leg of the gauntlet coming up here tomorrow. It's a team you're really going to have to play sound fundamental basketball against, I would imagine.
Well, you don't do what Virginia's done over the last couple of years, and they have great senior leadership with Brogdon and Gill as two fifth-year guys. They're older, they've been through it. They know exactly what they do and how to do it, and they do it every single day. So you're number 4 in the country for a reason. You have to play extremely well, extremely disciplined, extremely focused for 40 minutes. And unlike some teams where you got to really say, okay, you need to really defend well, or you need to really, offensively attack this, you have to do it on both sides of the ball. And that's really important. And that's, the challenge that we face on Saturday afternoon.
Of course, it's going to be your offense has played well. You're scoring points, but you look at where Virginia is ranked defensively in the country, it's going to be another good test for the offense.
Yeah, and I don't think you go into the Virginia game thinking that you're going to score 80 points on them. Number one, there's not as many possessions, and number two, they're one of the best defensive teams in the country. But you have to be aggressive. When you're open, you got to be ready to shoot. You got to shoot it like you mean it and shoot it like it's going in. And you have to do a great job on the offensive glass. So if you're able to get good shots, that means somewhere the defense has been broken down. And if you can break down their defense and get a quality look, then it gives you a better opportunity to offensive rebound as well.
Of course, it's nice to have Adam coming into the game with his confidence way up based on his last performance.
Yeah, and with Adam, he one of the reasons he's a great shooter is he's always confident. He can miss 3, 4, 5 in a row, and the next one he thinks is going in, and the next 10 after he shoots that, he thinks it's going in. That's one of the marks of a tremendous shooter. He's done a better job of doing some stuff off the dribble for us as well, which is important, because there are times when you play some of the teams in this league, and Virginia's one of them, where you just need to go make a play. And he's been able to really improve his ability to do that.
What are you seeing defensively from your team? Where do you see the breakdowns that are leading to some of
Well, I think on the initial point of attack, and for us defensively, we just haven't done a good enough job of guarding the basketball. And that's led to fouls. Our defensive field goal percentage in the Pitt game in the second half we held them to 36%. That's more like it, but we fouled a lot. And you can't give teams easy baskets, transition, deep post up, second chance points, and free throws. No matter how much film we look at or how much we analyze things, there's no defense against a free throw shot, and so you can't put guys to the line. So we got to do a better job of being disciplined and showing our hands, moving our feet, and getting our early help and shrinking gaps so the court isn't so spread. And you're playing against very good offensive teams. You need to challenge every shot that's taken.
They opened up the last game, Virginia, with a 3-guard offense, but you also have to go up against the big guy coming off the bench, and he brings a lot of energy and a lot of rebounding energy to their team. Toby.
Yeah. What was the 3-guard lineup? Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's been starting.
Yeah.
They've in the last 4 games they've started Wilkins and Gill, and they bring Toby off the bench.
Yeah.
Toby's again, it's a great luxury to have a guy like him who started a lot for him to come off the bench. I think he had 16 and 11 against Notre Dame. Very good low post player, and he's different because with his size, he plays over the top of you. Where Gill in particular, uses his speed and quickness and athletic ability to score in the post. Toby scores off size and skill, and so it's a good complement. And Wilkins is kind of the glue guy between those three. So. Although they don't send 3 or 4 guys to the offensive glass, all 3 of those guys are tremendous offensive rebounders as well. So you can't give them, as I said, second chance points. And that Toby is the one guy that kind of plays on top of you. So you got to do a good job of wedging him out.
Brian, how important is it for the bigs to be a force offensively and defensively in this game?
Very important defensively. They're going to anchor a lot of the stuff that we do, and that's an area that we need to improve in. And it's not always just low post scoring, it's the help position and plugging the lane and being active and ball screen coverage, all those different things. Sometimes, if you just look at a stat sheet, you say, okay, their post player only scored. There's so much more when it comes on the defensive end. Offensively, we got to be patient. We can't turn the ball over. We had quite a few turnovers in the post last year when we played them, and our big guys have gotten better at that, and we need to do a good job of executing that in this game.
I know you said Virginia's always more sort of in that, not slow down, but they take their time. How difficult is that to have guys say, you're going to have to stay on defense the whole time, no mistakes?
Well, what you do is you're challenging, as I mentioned on a radio show last night, you're challenging in some ways this generation's one of their deficiencies, and that's attention span. You got to stay in a stance, you got to stay disciplined, you got to stay focused, sometimes for 30 full seconds. And there's a lot of movement. You're not standing. And so, one of the biggest challenges on any defensive possession is the hardest job is when you're away from the ball, because now you have multiple things to do. The easiest job is if you're guarding the ball, you only have one thing to do, defend the ball. It's off the ball, and that's where Virginia gets you. There's constantly moving, constantly screening, and if you relax for 1 second, they're going to get an open shot or an easy basket, and that's the challenge you face when you play Virginia.
Are you excited, glad you're back home playing against somebody like Virginia, maybe have a little extra, the crowd help a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, again, we've talked about the schedule, that they're not going to change it, so we got a game at 2 o'clock, and it's against the number 4 team in the country. But we are at home. When you go on the road in this league, even though it's only been 2 consecutive games, it seems like forever that we've been at home. So yeah, to come home and have a great crowd and have an opportunity to play better than we played, and get a victory and a win that would mean a lot to not only this team but get us on track. I think it's a great opportunity.
Are you happy where you are at? Are there big gaps where you think I got to fix this, or is it just we're close to where you?
Well, I think we're close. I'm not happy with the fact that we've lost the last 2 games. And so you can never be pleased with that. The gaps aren't big, and they're fixable gaps. And I always say if you need to increase something and get better at something, it is going to be easier to get better defensively. Because on offense, we've seen it. You can create all the good shots you want. If you ain't making shots, it doesn't matter. Well, we've proven we can do that. So now on the defensive end, we need to have a little more focus, a little more concentration, and make it a little more important, because it's something that can really catapult us to becoming a much better team.